Bethesda Place in whole, from my perspective, Bethesda Place I think has been a vital part of the Hays community for a long time, but I didn't necessarily know exactly what all they did. So like at Christmas time, I knew they had a shop, and I knew the guys from there, and I knew the guys from different ministries and different churches in town, but I didn't necessarily know the scope of what they did. So in whole, I always just thought they were kind of a home to help guys, and knew a lot of those guys and thought it was something that was important to do. But I had no intimate or any knowledge specifically. But then about 10 plus years ago, my nephew and niece, my niece I think first, and then my nephew and niece worked out there, and so then I got to spend a lot more time out on the grounds and understand a little bit more on who the guys were, what the whole mission was of the place, and a little bit broader scope of what they were attempting to do, and then realizing, so in whole, I think it's a place where gives the best version of guys with developmental disabilities, where they can work for themselves, they can feel good about themselves, they can also have relationships that are meaningful and can grow, and it's built around a Christian model where I think it's good for them. I think it is care with honor, care with respect. I think it challenges those guys to get the best out of them and to meet them where they're at. I think it's a model for me on how I hope to be, and it's a model of what I think the following Christ is about, which is that you got to meet people where they are, and there's going to be certain weaknesses in every human that you can either poke or you can fill the gap. And I think that's a place where they intentionally go and figure out ways to fill the gaps for those guys to help them live their best lives, but do it in an honoring way where they feel part of the community. We had made a concerted effort over the first 5 years to put out to the community that we wanted this space to be a place where anybody who wanted to do outreach into the community and ministries could use the space. And I knew the Tippies well enough, and then at some point along the line, Jared loves to roast coffee. And so I know he had started roasting, and he approached me whether or not he could use Breathe on Sundays to sell their coffee beans that they were roasting, and they were setting up a club or whatever where they do monthly sales, and people could sign up for what they wanted, and they would get it throughout the course of the year. So one Sunday a month, I was like, absolutely. So they would come in here, and people could come in and sample what they were roasting and then sell it. So the reason I said it's ridiculous, I literally had a guy here in town who was roasting coffee, selling it out of my shop, but I was not using his coffee. So I don't know how long that took for me to finally put two and two together, be like, hey, well, maybe you should sell your coffee where we are. And so when they started distributing here, we just had ongoing conversations, and eventually it was like, hey, why don't we partner together? And then in talking to the Tippies, they're basically, our guys are getting older, and it would probably be good that something's not so labor intensive to be able to support themselves. And we're like, this makes sense. This is beneficial for both of us. And then we could be more involved actually in, hey, what beans, where are the origins of these beans, what are you looking at? We could be involved in the front end as well a little bit more than we were before. We had never really had the intention of roasting here. We wanted to partner because that's part of the mission of the place, is to create connections. So that's kind of how it all came to be. And then we were like, this all makes sense. So then when they kind of ramped up, they were like, well, how much would you potentially need? And we did that together, could ramp up their stuff enough to be able to handle what we produce. My favorite part, there's lots of things I really enjoy. For one, it feels good. I feel like it really meets their mission and our mission, and gives their guys a chance to get out and feel connected in the community. My favorite part is they deliver the coffee. And I have never had an exchange, an interaction with the six guys, with the Bethesda guys, that isn't joyful. These guys emanate joy, and they feel so good. They love to come in there. They love coffee. They used to come in as a group all the time before they were roasting with us or for us, and they love coming in here. And I'll tell you, so my favorite part is just seeing them and talking to them, but really being able to connect, knowing they're producing something. They feel good about themselves and what they're doing, and we feel good because we're actually making connection. What's unique about it, honestly, more than anything else, which is what I think we have in common with Bethesda Place and Six Guys, what's unique about it is the people who produce it. What's unique about it is that you get a vibe, you get a feel, you can love these people who produce it. Knowing the story makes the coffee taste better. Breathe is about taking enough time to understand the nuances in another human being, and that when you can understand them, then you could take care of them and love them and actually have a relationship. And it's the nonprofit that I run is called Dialogue Ministries, and my definition of dialogue is a one-on-one conversation that never ends. Because it's our belief, if I can have a conversation with you repeatedly forever, we will understand each other. Eventually we will, no matter how far apart we are on a political spectrum, no matter how far apart we are on religion or on anything else. We can learn to understand each other if we have a desire to understand each other's nuances. Coffee works the same way. So when we can work with Bethesda Place and Six Guys, and they can produce these variations of coffee, and we can take the time to taste the difference, it mimics being able to taste the difference in human beings and appreciate the difference. So how are we similar? They're actually doing that. They're learning how to take care of people, to meet them where they're at, but do it while they're honoring them and respecting them as individuals to get the best. And that's what we hope to do here too, is to help inspire people to do the same thing. I think many of my answers to these questions about Bethesda in its impact on the community is because it inspires people to be better. That's what I hope Breathe does, is people can walk in here and inspire them to be like, yeah, I don't have to suck down 32 ounces of caffeine in my car. I could actually sit down and talk to another human being over a cup of coffee, and it would make a difference in my life, and it would make a difference in theirs. And where am I actually living out my values, living out my faith on a regular basis? Well, this is an easy way to do it. If you drink coffee 10 minutes every morning, spend 10 minutes every morning talking to another human being, and guess what? You'll make an impact on their life, and you'll have an opportunity to share the light that you have in you because of what you know about Christ. They're showing that they can be productive members of the community, that they can make a living, that they can produce something that we like, that people want, and that can be done all at the same time. How are they change? Because I think too often people say, well, what can they do? They're showing us that not only through creating opportunities, they can meet needs, and they can rise to far beyond what you expect. And there's a place for everybody. What impact does Bethesda have on the guys that live there? I mean, the beauty is, I think you can ask them and they would tell you it has a huge positive impact. But I think it makes them part of the community. It gives them purpose. It makes them feel like they can do something on their own and excel, and that it also then generates opportunities to be an impact in our community overall. So, I mean, I think it raises their capacity. What do I think the future of Bethesda? The sky's the limit. If people are motivated to be a part of it, I think there's opportunities, hundreds of more opportunities that are out there that people could do to expand. They have a bunch of land out there and a bunch of places where people could partner. I'm partnering with them in this regard. There's a million of them. If people in the community want to partner, I think it could go as big as people want it to.